So today we're doing a quick check-in on the A7RV. It's been 8 months since I have purchased this camera, and I've been using it very frequently for my projects, client work, passion stuff. And it's time to do a long-term review on how this camera has been for me. If you're researching this camera, I really hope this video can help you decide if you are going to pull the trigger or not. So I do a ton of photography and a lot of video. Naturally, I'm gonna need a hybrid option for myself. And before I got this camera for photography, I was using the A7RV, which was my main photo camera. And then for video, I've been using the Sony FX3. So I purchased this camera because I knew it would be a really good B cam to my FX3 and a good hybrid on its own. So let's just talk about features that really stood out to me, my overall feelings, and things that I don't really like about this camera. So first things first, this screen is killer. I love the size of it. I love the flexibility of it, the quality of my photos and video when I'm looking at playback. The screen was a huge selling point to me when I had my A7RV and I found out about this camera. I just wanted something that was more flexible, and this screen does just that. It is extremely flexible and allows me to be more creative on set as I get different angles that I need to get. I really hope Sony continues to release screens like this for future releases. Autofocus is definitely worth the hype. So it just completely eliminates the question on if your shot is going to be in focus or not. And it just keeps me far more in the zone of just creating and not worrying about something like focus anymore. IBIS has been really amazing. Like, I love being able to get extremely smooth shots without having to bring a Ronin or have any other type of stabilization. I've definitely been appreciating the IBIS. Okay, some cons. The battery life, it burns through batteries really quickly. I really have to make sure I'm keeping an eye on this camera a lot more than my FX3 and definitely more than my A7RV. Unfortunately, that's just the case. I have like 3 Sony batteries total, and I'm not like always struggling with battery life, but I do notice that it eats up batteries pretty quickly, and that is definitely a con when using this camera. Again, this camera was a great B cam for my FX3, but if this was my main video camera for short film, music videos, commercial work, I would definitely rig this camera up and use a V-mount. Another con is the lack of importing Luts. I love using Luts in my FX3, and I just really wish that I was able to use it with my Sony A7RV. As far as I know, I don't see a way that you can do this. I love this camera already, but if I was able to import Luts and play back my footage with the Luts, it would be a dream. Another con is the lack in low light performance. When you have an FX3 and you can push to 12,800, you do get a little spoiled and feel like you're missing so much when the R5 can only really push to 2,500. So those are just a couple of honest feelings that I have after using this camera for 8 months. I will say that this camera definitely fills in a lot of the boxes that I need, and it really has helped my workflow. It's been an amazing B cam for me. I love using it for photography. The screen keeps me inspired. The ability to not have to worry about my focus has been really great, and I'm just really happy that I personally bought this camera. So that's been my 8-month experience with the Sony A7RV. I hope this video helped you in your decision. If you have any questions about the Sony A7RV and anything that I didn't touch on, let me know in the comments, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.